train was a few minutes late. It looks like the boat wasn't here yet either.
Mine neither. And I hope it arrives soon because I am freezing. Who would think it'd be this warm? You'd think it'd be warmer in April, no?
Yeah.
What a lousy time of year to be throwing a party on an isolated island. Unless it's Bermuda.
Sure is, but I've never been to the Thousand Islands area before. Have you?
Oh, yes. Daddy often brings the family here when New York gets unbearable during July and August. The whole area is full of people then.
Yeah. By the way, my name's Brad Kessler.
I'm Diane Arnett.
Arnett? I've heard that name somewhere.
Probably my father. He's the publisher. Philip Arnett.
That's it. He's in the papers all the time.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a stockbroker for Bell and Weinberg. One day, though, it'll be Bell, Weinberg, and Kessler.
Nothing like a bit of ambition. My ride had better get here soon, or I'll chuck it. It's supposed to pick me up at 4. Do you have the time?
Yeah, it's about 5 after 4, but isn't that the boat coming across now?
Oh, yes, thank heaven. I hope it's the boat to Castle Island.
That's where I'm going, for a weekend party.
Fabulous. I wasn't sure who's invited. These weekend parties can be deadly if a few interesting people don't show up. I nearly died of boredom at the Grayson's party on Long Island. Just a bunch of old foggies who wanted to play charades. Ugh.
I could stand a fart or two, as long as you were there, of course.
We've a bit of a ride ahead of us.
Here's the boat.
Let's go.
May I introduce Miss Diane Arnett, sir, and Mr. Brad Kessler.
Hello, hello.
This is Miss Amanda Carter. Hi. Dr. Marvin Wisby. And Mr.
How's it going?
What's up?
If you please excuse me, I'll bring a tray of tea for those who prefer. Your host for the weekend will be reached. Thank you. Sorry.
I could use a drink, but isn't it strange Neko had to come to greet us?
Netco? Who's that? I don't know a Netco. My attorney, Edwin Aviles, invited you.
Nonsense. My invitation is definitely from George Neko. You know, the well-known philanthropist.
Oh, you're probably right. But how odd. Why would Mr. Netco invite me when I don't know him?
I was invited by Jacob Weinberg, one of the owners of my investment house.
Wait a minute, something's odd. Duke Guerra said he wanted me to discuss his business.
I got a note from Buzzy saying he's throwing a party on an isolated island. What is going on?
Please help yourselves to drinks. A cold buffet is laid out in the dining hall across the main hallway.
We're not happy about what's going on here. I insist you tell us the name of our host.
Right.
Exactly.
Now I remember. A wealthy old recluse named Cyrus Barbier owns this island. He chose the most isolated spot around to build a castle that looks so much like excuse me, not a castle, a mansion that looks so much like a small castle, right?
Mr. Barbier is deceased. The island is for sale, but until the heir finds a buyer, it's being rented out.
That doesn't tell us a darn thing. I want the name of our host.
I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not at liberty to say.
Not at liberty to say.
Stop the tough guy act. We'll find out soon enough.
Oh dear. Young man, please don't squabble. Martinez, do you live here?
No, madam. Not since after Mr. Barbier died. I am presently the caretaker, but I live on the main line a mile and a half away. Your host requests that you all read the letter I've placed on the drink tray.
I use a drink. Anyone else?
I don't think I'll have one. Strong drinks make me feel so lightheaded. Perhaps a cup of tea. Oh, please, dear. I must say, please be Thank you.
Welcome to Castle Island, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Walter Ristenbat. None of you knows me, so I'll fill you in on why I invited you here. I've spent my entire working life with the New York Police Department. 7 months ago, when my doctor informed me that I have inoperable cancer, I retired from the position of assistant commissioner. So what does that have to do with you all, you wonder? 5 years ago, a tragedy happened in my life that changed the course of my thinking. It caused me to become all too aware of the fact that many crimes are committed in which the perpetrator goes unpunished. The police may be certain of the identity of the criminal, but have no sure proof that will stand up in court. So justice goes by the wayside. 5 years ago, I began keeping records of such cases and vowed someday to rectify miscarriages of justice. By sheer persistence, I've collected enough evidence to be certain about each case. Now that I'm dying, I have nothing to lose by taking on the role of avenging angel.
Oh my God.
That man's insane.
That's why I invited you all to Castle Island.
It's crazy.
Oh, this is so distressing. But perhaps we better read the rest of the letter. Please, continue, Miss Arnett.
Dr. Marvin Whitby. 5 years ago, you performed an appendectomy on a young woman. You were drunk at the time. And your scalpel slipped and severed an artery.
My God.
She bled to death on the operating table.
Monster.
The surgical staff closed ranks and refused to testify against you. The young woman's name was Margaret Ristenbat. She was our only daughter, our only child. Her death caused my wife to die of a broken heart. I discovered that you continue to treat patients while under the influence of alcohol and drugs. It's only a matter of time until you kill someone else. I intend to remedy that.
What a pack of lies. Let me see that letter.
You're a criminal.
Really, Dr. Whitby, I don't like what you've gotten us into.
Tony Romano. When Mac Lopez, the muscle man for the Foreman gang, began to shoulder his way into mafia territory, he was gunned down in an alley in Queens.
Of course.
I charge you with his death. You may have eliminated the man who accidentally witnessed the crime, but you didn't know. He already passed the word on to one of my informants. Romano, there's no room on this earth for cold-blooded killers like you.
That's not true. You heard what he said. You gotta have proof.
It's in the letter.
Go on, doctor.
Amanda Carter,
My God.
I charge you with the death of your sister,
Wow.
Chelsea Hill. She had married well and inherited a sizable estate from her husband. She took you in, but rather than depend on her charity or face an impoverished old age, you killed her. You were clever enough to make it look like a natural death, but do you know where you slipped up? You should have never smiled at her burial when you threw a bouquet of lilies into her open grave.
Oh, that wicked, wicked man! I had nothing to do with my dear poor sister's death. Nothing at all.
Miss Innocent.
I was overcome with grief.
I'm surrounded by criminals.
Now, we've come to Diane Arnett.
I'm sorry.
Diane.
3 years ago, after an all-night party, you were involved in a car accident that killed a woman and her child. You swore that your companion, Dwight Reynolds, was driving. How could he deny it? As he left the car to run for help, he was struck down by a truck and killed. Strange. The windshield where you were presumably sitting at was cracked, yet you had no head injury.
This is insane.
Your powerful father protected you, but I know you were the murderer.
I couldn't have been driving. I was only 17. I want out of here.
Don't worry, baby.
I'll take care of you. No one ever gets Tony Romano.
Bye.
There's more.
Let me see that. Brad Kessler. Oh. In spite of the fact that you're engaged to your boss's daughter, Leanne Bell, you play around on the sly, always under an assumed name.
It's not true.
Catherine Heath, a young, talented actress, fell for your line and believed you wanted to marry her. You had your way with her, and she broke off the affair. She felt devastated. When you admitted you were engaged to Leanne Bell, Catherine Heath threatened to tell her of the affair. You couldn't bear to miss out on future wealth, so you strangled Miss Heath with your bare hands.
Oh my God.
How do I know it was you? I traced the antique necklace you gave her that you tried to pass off as your grandmother.
It's not true.
Of course it's not.
Ristenbat was a dirty, rotten liar. I'm gonna rip that letter to shreds.
There's, I set up this meeting some time ago and will be dead by the time you read this letter. After my death, my attorney will notify Martinez to mail the invitations. Have no fear. She will have no idea of this little party. Upon delivering this letter to you, she has been instructed to leave the island for 4 weeks before returning.
4 weeks.
I hope you enjoy your stay at Castle Island.
4 weeks on this forsaken island.
This is hell. This is gonna
Look,
be crazy.
the mate's taking off in the motorboat.
What's going on here?
Romano, go outside and see if there's another boat that can take us off this island.
No, this island's so small, there's only room for one castle, one dock, no boat, no boathouse. I guess we're all stuck on this island until Martinez comes back.
Oh, this is so upsetting. Here, doctor. Here's my letter. Surely it's from my attorney. I have never had any dealings with the police, and I don't know Walter Ristenback. Doctor, I demand you take me off this island immediately.
That's obviously impossible. Why do you make such demands of me?
It's your fault we're here. That butchered operation.
Blast it, the whole thing's a lie.
Come on, man, it's no lie you hit the bottle. You've been drinking them, you've been slugging them down faster than my old man, and he's an expert.
I noticed you didn't deny being an assassin.
Back up, old man. Ever since I got big enough to fight back, old men don't push me around anymore.
Oh, God, I'm stuck here with the drunk and the thug.
Lady, where I come from, you gotta be tough.
Look, let's not lose our heads. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna go outside and check again.
I'm going with you.
When they come back, we gotta settle down and figure out what to do.
What could be taking them so long? Young man, please stop that pacing. It makes me nervous. They're back.
It's no use. I can't find a boat, and the channel's too far away to flag a ship. It's getting colder too.
I think we're stuck here.
I can't stand it anymore. He's a killer. He'll kill us all.
Oh, stop it, you old hypocrite. At least he's straightforward.
How dare you?
I know you're kind. You're all nice and soft on the outside and hard as nails on the inside.
You intruder.
Come off it. It's obvious you're guilty. You've been reaching for your corsage, silk, lily, pure innocent lily, isn't it? You've been reaching for it the way my grandmother used to with the crucifix she wore. For comfort and for strength.
Wait a minute. Ristenback mentioned the lily in the letter.
That's right. There was a medical account in the newspapers not so long ago. A child drank water from a vase that held lilies. The mother had thrown away the flowers but hadn't yet emptied the vase. The child died within minutes. Who knew that such a pretty little flower could be so deadly?
Might as well have drunk in bleach.
Exactly.
Now isn't that interesting? Welcome to the club, Grandma.
Yo, Leo, you get the manners of a gutter schneck.
Listen, I get it. I'm all scum. You guys are all pure and white, or shall I say lily white? And I'm not good enough for the likes of you, am I? You bougie thing.
You don't know anything about me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you judge me by what you see. Well, let me tell you what it's like having a father who thinks he's king. Henry VIII, to be exact. Excuse me?
So that's funny.
If you don't do what Daddy wants, he'll break you in two, like he did my mother. She bucked him as long as she could, and he couldn't very well put her in a loony bin. I mean, how would that look? But I'm gonna tell you this. My father is not going to break me. I deserve to run that empire. But no, I'm just a girl.
Hey, I'm sorry. My dad was never sober long enough to tell me what to do. I guess we got something in common after all.
Get your filthy hands off her, man.
Hey, you're not a very good bet, buddy. Engaged to the boss's daughter, getting all you can on the side, and when stuff gets rough, you just bump her off. You're slimer than me.
Guys, stop!
Who is this Catherine anyway?
Wasn't it last fall? It was in the papers. A young, talented actress.
I remember. Wasn't she a part of family of actors? She was just beginning to make a name for herself.
Yes.
The police thought the boyfriend had did it, but he had fed her a bunch of lies. They couldn't trace him. A false name and address.
The boyfriend.
He was careful enough not to meet the parents, though. Ristenback mentioned an antique necklace in the letter. What was that all about?
Necklace. Probably the only clue Ristaman had to go on with. If you want to outthink a cop, you gotta think like one. So what would Ristaman do with the clue?
Well, he would obviously look for the necklace. I mean, if the young man lied about his identity, he surely lied about the necklace that his grandmother supposedly gave to him.
Right.
Of course, Mr. Bat seems obsessed with details. He checked every pawn shop and antique dealer that handles jewelry.
This is crazy. This is so crazy. This is so
I mean,
crazy. You guys are trying to frame
Hold
me.
on, even if Riston Bat, even if you thought that you weren't the killer, Riston Bat was sure that you did.
Well,
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. She's a liar, and I said it before, and I will say it again. I'm getting framed. This is crazy.
This makes
All
no
this
sense.
bickering doesn't solve our problems. After I lock these doors, we've got to check this place from top to bottom. Miss Carter and I will check the second. Kessler and Arnett, the first. Romano,
I'll handle the third alone.
someone had better remain in the hall. We'll be within calling distance. Diane, will you do it?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's get our research on.
Oh, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
We'll starve if we don't do something.
We will.
I feel like I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. Oh, young man, I think I'll have a bit of that scotch now. It may calm my nerves.
Look, I checked everywhere. There's no evidence of any secret panels.
Same to me.
did anyone find a phone or a shortwave radio?
No,
Well, then we're stranded here for sure.
we are.
What's going on here?
I can't believe it. She's dead. Don't drink that scotch.
It's that booze that we all drank from earlier, but I swear no one came in while Brett checked.
Crazy. This is so crazy. This is so crazy.
I mean, carry her out of here. Do something. I don't want to see her anymore.
Romano, help me take her out of here.
There's a study next door to the left, guys. Can take.
My grandmother used to talk about seeing my grandfather after he died. And I don't believe in ghosts. Well, not really. But what if...
Don't lose your head. We'll figure out something. I just wish you were light outside.
Me too. It's so spooky at night. And it's nearly 3 a.m.
It is. Look, gotta think of something to do now. What are we gonna do, guys? What if Ristenbad isn't dead after all?
If he isn't dead, then where is he hiding?
What if Martinez is really Ristenbad? No, that wouldn't work. Because she had left after we had the first round in. The boat didn't come back, so she couldn't have came back and poisoned it. This is crazy.
This makes no sense.
It doesn't.
What if a ghost poisoned the booze?
There's no such thing as ghosts, you idiot. This guy here, comedian.
This makes no sense. I'm going upstairs to get my gun. Not that it'll do any good if there's a ghost.
What if he goes berserk and shoots us all?
Having a gun on hand might not be a bad idea.
Oh, God.
That gun, you know that gun?
Oh, my God! Brad, don't leave me! We can watch from the doorway.
Doctor, is he dead?
Yeah, room, gunshot wound. Catch
God.
that.
What's going on?
Come and move him to the study. I'll check if the gun's on the landing.
It's no use. Can't find a gun anywhere.
And it's not a revolver.
What's going on here? We were in the hall in a matter of seconds. We would have seen the person who fired the shot.
My God. You don't suppose a ghost?
Get a hold of yourself, man.
I'm sorry, I lost my head for a moment there.
Look, we gotta think, all right? We gotta think. There's a rational explanation. We should just barricade this door.
Right.
I'm so tired. I cannot even think.
Whippy, maybe we should search the house again. Blast it! I wish we had Tony's gun.
You can't shoot a ghost.
Stop it, you moron! You're cracking up!
Doctor, what are you doing? Don't go out there. Are you crazy?
I have to get my medicine out of my bag. I gotta have my medicine.
Oh, Brad, let him go. He needs a fix. Can't you see he's an addict?
An addict?
He's been yawning and shaking and laughing all day. He needs a fix. He'll be back soon.
It's obvious that Whippy's useless. It's up to us to get off this island. But would anyone come looking for you when you don't show up on Monday?
Well, actually, I kind of lied to Daddy. He's forbidden me to go to these island parties. So I told him I was staying with a friend in Boston. But what about you? Will anyone come looking for you?
Leanne's in Rio, and I told coworkers I was going to a party hosted by Weinberg, so they'll ask him, but he won't know anything about it. But I thought they liked me and stuff, you know, because of the boss's daughter, so they'll just think I was lying to impress them.
Wait a minute. I know Leanne. She's not that cute. Do you really love her?
What does love have to do with it? She doesn't have what they can do to you.
How about you marry lousy Leanne to make her daddy happy, and I marry Harry Harold to make my daddy happy. That way, we can meet up whenever we can.
That's called having your cake and eating it too.
He should be back by now. I'm starving. Do you think any other food in the kitchen is safe?
I don't know. We should go check.
Yeah, let's go. Oh my gosh, Dad! Did you see the doctor? His face was all blue. He must have committed suicide. What's
Diane,
going on?
I don't know. It was barely any light. I couldn't really see anything, but there was blood inside of his head. I think somebody knocked him out and strung him up.
But how could someone possibly tie up a rope to the ceiling without a ladder?
I don't know. There was no chair there. He couldn't have committed suicide.
Oh, I wish I hadn't come. And I wish I hadn't driven Dwight's car and killed all those people. But they got in my way. Just like that girl, what's her name, Catherine, got in your way.
Okay, she got in my way, but I thought, and I got myself out of a tight spot just like you did, Diane. Wrist and back could have been a thing on either of us. We're a lot alike, and now we have to keep our heads together and get off this island together.
You're probably right. Oh, Brad, I don't want to die. I'm gonna swim for it. I mean, I'm a good swimmer. How about you?
I'm not much of a swimmer.
Brad, you can do it. After all, it is the ocean, not a river, so the water's calm. How about this? We'll swim for it, and then tread water and rest. But first, I'm famished. Do you think I dare drink this?
I don't know, I wouldn't chance it. We would have to go to the kitchen and get a drink from the tap, even though I hate to go into other parts of the houses. If we find food, we'll eat, let it settle, and then swim. By then, we maybe make it far enough to flag a ship, you know?
You're probably right. But maybe you should check outside just in case if there's another boat on the dock.
You're right. Diane! Oh my God! I have to get out of here. I have to leave.
It's all over, guys. It's all over.
What?
Good. The undertow got him. Just what he deserves. Now somebody help me remove this harness.
Yeah, turn around, Dad, so I can reach the buckles.
How was he supposed to know the water out Castle Island was so dangerous?
How indeed. So did you guys hear? I got him to admit he killed Rose and Catherine.
I heard him.
We know, dear, we heard. I'm thankful he did. But I do wish the police would have convicted him. I mean, would have had enough evidence to convict him.
So do we all, Mother. Too bad we couldn't find out where he bought the necklace.
I was nervous when the antique dealer came up. But once it did come up, I knew we had to continue.
I still say he bought it out of town.
Dan, go outside and unearth the flare gun. Your mother needs to know it's time to get back home.
I'm so sorry. Beverly, you were great.
Oh, thank you. But at my age, I believe I'll forget a line.
We're proud of you, Mother. You too, Diane.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to get off this island.
Grandma, you were a pro. Always will be, too.
Okay, let's have some drinks now, shall we? Get your cups from over there.
Toast. Thank you.
A toast to the best performance ever acted by the Heath family.
To Catherine.
To Catherine.